We've had some questions as far as how to put together some of our appliques. Some of them are a little more involved, and so we thought the best thing to do is just do a video, and we can show you then some tips that I like to use as far as to make it a little simpler. We've been asked to number the pieces. I understand that, but yet sometimes with our appliques it's a little bit difficult to do it that way. So this one happens to be Wanda the Witch. The first thing I did, and I'm giving you guys permission to do this, is if you want to make a copy of the layout, you know, you get your pattern layout, which looks like this. And then you've got the color picture on the other side like this. And so I really like to look at the color photo when I'm putting this together. Now, one of the things that I strongly recommend when you're doing this, of course, is to use either a silicone mat or a Teflon sheet. Preferably, I use the silicone mats. I don't even use the Teflon sheets anymore because they're just so wonderful to use. These pieces stick before you actually even iron them down. So you'll want to iron them down, but like I said, they stick and they don't slide around. So what I've done here is I'm going to start assembling this applique, the inner pieces first, because if you put the base pieces down first, you can't see where the other pieces go. So we've put them down. I'm going to tack these with the tip of my iron. Reason being is because if I need to move these pieces, I want to make sure that I don't have them ironed fabric to fabric, because then it's harder for them to pull apart. So I've got these pieces tacked down, okay? The dashed lines, and I'm going to pull this up so you can see that. These dashed lines, and it says that in the instructions, indicate the overlap. So when you see this piece that I've got my thumb on, or my finger on, and it's got a dashed line, then you know it goes underneath this piece, which is the dress. So I'm going to start putting together some of these inner pieces. And then once I get them put together, and you can see exactly where they go, once I get those put together, then I'm going to pull those off because they go over the top. And I'm looking over at my colored drawing to make sure that I've got these in the correct place. So I'm going to put these together. I've got the hair underneath her nose. I've got my hands on here, and I'm not ironing these pieces onto the hands. I'm just ironing these base pieces down, or these face pieces. One thing you want to do once you get them ironed is to let it cool. These I'm gonna iron down a little bit more securely. Let those cool, and then they're going to peel right off of your mat. Okay, so then I've got those ready to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the hat, because I can see that that goes underneath. Now this piece has a slit in it. That generally means that something goes underneath there. So kind of keep that in mind. Now I'm going to tack these down because I know that these are in the right place. There again, if you're not using the placement drawing, I really, really recommend that you do, because it's going to take the guesswork out of where these pieces go. So let's see here. We've got this one, and actually I'm going to have to pull these up because this goes down first. And these actually go underneath because there is a dashed line there. This goes on top of. And I know I've got to put my legs and stuff down here, but I'm not going to iron it completely down so that I'm going to be able to see where those go. This goes over just a hair more. And just tack that down. Now, I know that you can't see these pieces. I get that. Just kind of go underneath, see where the top of the nose is, and you're going to kind of see where these pieces go. So this goes up underneath. Oopsie, I had a piece that came out. I'm just going to flatten that back down so it's nice and flat again. I think when I pulled it up, it just kind of got a little bit wrinkled. Okay. This goes right underneath, and the nose pops over the top. There again, it's hard to see because you've got those base pieces on there, but you can see by your colored drawing exactly how that goes. And get it evened out. These pieces go underneath here. This one is probably, I would say, one of the more difficult ones to put together. So understandable if it's a frustration sometimes, but of course with practice makes perfect here. Now I'm gonna iron these pieces down because I know these all go together. Before I do the bottom of the dress, I'm gonna put my funny little legs on. Oopsie. You know, Caitlin, I don't think I have those right. Here we go. Like I said, working upside down isn't always the easiest, but I'll get it. So we've got that. Then we've got her little sock tufts up here. And they're sticking because of the mat. We get these all where we want them, and then I'm going to take my iron and I'm going to run that right over the top. Okay. Now her little broom handle goes actually underneath. And when you don't have it completely ironed down, then it's just real easy to put them where you need them. This goes underneath. This goes on top. And this goes on top. And you can either leave it on top or you can pull this up and you can put it underneath. Now we've got all the pieces where we want them. Then take your iron and run it over the entire applique.
What would you recommend to someone if they're not using the Teflon sheet and they're doing it directly onto the fabric?
That's a good question, Caitlin. I can't stress enough the simplicity that these pressing mats are. It's guesswork. It's anybody's guess as to where the pieces go. And that's why I recommend in every single one of my applique patterns using either the silicone mat or a Teflon sheet because of the fact that you absolutely know where these pieces are going to go.
So then what happens now? Can you pull
So
that
now we've got this. This is cool. It's a little bit warm yet. You might want to let it cool a little bit more. But what you're going to do then with this silicone mat is you're going to pull that applique off of there, and you have one piece. You can see the shininess on the back. That indicates that your fusible is still on the back of your fabric. You're going to take that to whatever it is, whether it's a towel or a pillow or whatever you're making, and you lay that onto the fabric and you simply iron it down. And so if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're always available to answer questions. Like I said, it's never our, we don't want to frustrate people, but we know sometimes these are a little bit more difficult. So feel free to give us a call or an email, and we're happy to help you.